everybody, welcome to Remrov's World of Autism. In this video I want to share with you my top 5 of autism related struggles. I've probably done videos about each of them specifically, but I just wanted to list them and share with you what I struggle most with in my daily life. I'm just gonna share them with you in a random order. Okay, we'll start with number 1, of course, which is phone calls, making phone calls. I find making phone calls extremely difficult. I find it very overwhelming. Often with phone calls the sound is a bit distorted and there are background noises and you can't hear people very well, and I find it very difficult to follow somebody talking over the phone, especially when somebody's talking or calling me when they're like out and about and outside and there's like traffic noises and things or wind and things like that. It's just like really difficult, I find. Besides that, you have to respond immediately because you can't see a person, and then you can, like, if you don't respond immediately, you can have like these really awkward silences over the phone. So for me it takes just longer to process when somebody is saying something to me. So then you have to like practically force yourself to like respond immediately, whether or not you're ready or have a response ready or not. I find it easier when it's friends, because they know about my autism, so they know about my difficulties. But if it's people that are like new to me, then I find it really difficult and challenging. I find it scary to just make phone calls. Okay, then we'll go to number 2, which is zoning out. Actually, this is also one of the top 5 good things about autism, because zoning out can be really nice, to just be in your own headspace and your own fantasy world, and to just have everything disappear around you. But it can also be not good at all, of course, especially when you're supposed to be working. For example, I had that with my full-time job, and then I was working on a ticket, and then I was zoning out and staring into space, and then suddenly I came to my senses again, or however you say that, and then oh my god, and what did I do already, and what didn't I do, and then it took quite a lot of time to just get back to where I left off. And especially when you don't have that under control, then that's not good, of course, during work. And especially because the work I did, you had to do tickets in a certain amount of time, and then it's not good to zone out for a few minutes. And then it's going to take of your ticket time. Number 3 is being overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed quite easily when a lot of things happen at the same time. I have an example for that as well. With my work, with my full-time job, especially the start of my shift. You had to do a lot of things starting your shift. You had to start up all these applications and websites that you needed to do your work. You have colleagues talking to you, you have news to go over. You have to clock in, you have to like start your daily report, and you have to do a lot of things. I find it extremely overwhelming and chaotic, and really difficult to deal with. And that's one of my most top 5 struggles, being overwhelmed. Just too much information at once, too many things to do at once. One task, focus on one task is good. Too many tasks to focus on at once is not good. Then we have sensory issues, a bit related also with number 3. Sensory issues, a lot of autistic people have we have our senses, and they're like hyper sensitive, like our ears, our nose, eyes, everything comes in just so much more louder and harder, and yeah, it can cause sensory overload, and it's pretty limiting in my daily life, especially if you take something like public transportation. I'm pretty limited with public transportation because you get so much sensory input when with public transportation, like all the people, the crowds and information. You have to find out where you're going and taking the right train or bus or whatever. I mean, of course, if you if you're like going somewhere where you've been many times before, it's not such an issue, but then again, you're still with all those sounds and the crowds, and it can be yeah, causing a sensory overload as well. And with work, for example, I'm pretty limited, like how far I can travel, how long I can be on public transportation on a daily basis. It is pretty difficult to explain to people, because often when I tell people I have difficulties with public transportation because of sensory issues, then they still explain to me how to get there. I don't have difficulties to find out how to get somewhere. That's actually pretty easy for me. I'm pretty good at navigating. Yeah, it's often people just don't get that it's because of sensory issues, that just the overstimulation of everything, it's just too much and too draining. So that was sensory issues. Many autistic people struggle with that. And then we have number 5, which is something I struggle with a lot, is people's expectations. When your autism doesn't show at first or at second or hardly at all, it doesn't mean that my autism is not present. It's definitely present, even if it doesn't show on the outside. Within myself, it's present everywhere, and with everything I do, and with every activity, everything. And people, they tend to think, okay, if you don't see it, then it's not there, and then they find it difficult to like imagine that you hardly have any issues at all, and it becomes pretty difficult to explain then to people that simple things that are pretty easy for neurotypicals can be extremely challenging for me or for anybody else with autism, and that people don't seem to understand these limitations. And when you look neurotypical, they automatically have neurotypical expectations from you, and then you can come across quite some criticism. Like if you try to tell them, hey, that's just not possible for me, or this is not possible for me, or at my work I had to tell them I need to work part-time, I can't work full-time, it's just not doable. And then I felt it wasn't always understood all that perfectly, and that's pretty difficult to just feel that like you're doing your absolute very best and you have your limitation, and then it starts to feel like your very best is just not good enough. And yeah, that's something I struggle with a lot, that the feeling that I have to apologize for everything, the feeling that people might think that I'm overreacting, things like that. I know that there's quite a lot of other autistic people struggling with the same. So it's always good to keep in mind, even if our autism doesn't show on the outside, it is there on the inside. And often we also try our very best not to show it, that's to pass for neurotypicals, to avoid criticism, for example. So that was my top 5. If you are autistic as well and you have something to add to this list, or if you're not autistic, you have something to add to that list, do so. Feel welcome to do so in the comments below, so other people can learn from it. and read it, and yeah, it could be helpful for everybody to learn from it. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay updated about my latest videos. And I wish you a great day, and I hope to see you with my next videos again. Bye!